Good day. My name's Graham. I'm the average thick as a brick Yorkshireman. But I take a great interest in what the dictators of the EU are doing. You are either into democracy or you are trying to destroy it. And I suppose it would depend on how historically and psychologically you're attached to democracy, and that would depend how much you care about it. Well, obviously the leaders of the EU, whoever these people are, living off the backs of the rest of the people, they do not care for democracy or freedom or liberty of the people at all. There's very little they care for other than themselves and making rules and regulations and telling you how to behave in every factor of your life. So, but the thing is, when that Macron, whoever he was, we were told he was a clever man, and we were told in the paper, what a clever man he is. Turns out he's thicker than the average Yorkshireman. I hadn't got a clue that there are people in the countryside haven't got work, but he put the price of fuel up to save the climate. Well, who gives a damn about the climate when you're struggling to put food on your table or get a job? Your first care and thought is for you getting a job, looking after your family, paying your rent and stuff like that. But according to these multi-billionaires, where they are also caring about the climate, they're willing to sacrifice the poor in the name of that. At the same time, they're bringing millions and millions of people in from other places in the world to make surely if there's a climate catastrophe in Europe, which will bring about economic catastrophe, will make the matter much worse. So obviously the people in the EU and whoever they are aren't half as clever as they think they are, or they're extremely devious. Which one is it? We can't quite make up our mind. But what is that Macron? Quite a strange lad, really, when you think about it. He said, USA is the enemy of Europe, which is very odd because USA was there for years protecting Europe against Russians and communism and all that, helped bring down the wall and stuff like that. And maybe that was the worst mistake US made, bringing down the wall and letting whatever that was into the rest of the Europe. We don't know. Very interesting in that aspect of it. So and then they want to form an army. Now the army, European army, you have to ask yourself, who would its enemy be? Now we've had the European armies before, but the Europeans army what wanted to control all of Europe. Look at all the Nazis, and jackboots and the SS and uniforms, and this may be just a return of an ideology created in that and a centralised system of total control of the people through an army which then enforces regulation and locks up those people within Europe who don't go along with the regulations or seen as outside or cast as outsiders or whatever it deems, because there's no way, I mean, America's not going to invade Europe, is it? England's not going to invade Europe. The Chinese aren't going to invade Europe. And it's doubtful if the Russians are going to invade Europe. France has got nuclear war, it got nuclear weapons. It cancels itself out. So, I know, so who is this enemy of Europe that it needs a army? When you think about it, it's the Europeans themselves who no longer want to be controlled by Brussels. So, the thing about this thing, it's a very scary thing when people who already don't like democracy cannot into revenge and retribution when it comes to those places that reject the EU's dictatorship, and then it wants to bring in an army and create a European army. Well, the European people ought to be very great trying to work out how to get away from this thing, this entanglement, as fast as they can, so an army cannot be created by them that then controls them, because the only people that will be the enemy of the EU will be in the EU itself. As a rebellion has just begun, and you can't have it where this rebellion is the rebellion that's taken off now because of any number of reasons, and it's extremely a complex amount of reasons, but that's not going to go away. That's going to grow. There's no doubt about that. So what will happen in the end of that? Does this rebellion continue, this European spring, if you like, does that continue for when? How long shall we continue and endure until the people in the EU admit they are wrong if you cannot admit you are wrong, whenever you are, then you're not an involved person. You're some sort of unevolved individual without the intelligence to understand you've made some mistakes. You've underestimated the civility of the people, and you've oppressed them to the point where they're now rebelling against the immigration invasion of millions of aliens. So it stands to reason that the army that Macron wants to have in Europe may be to attack or keep Europe in order, and maybe attack Britain. Maybe is that what it is all again? We're going to do it again. So my suggestion is the people of Europe have to work a very peaceful plan how to extract themselves from these bureaucrats in the EU who now can't take no for an answer from anyone. What sort of people is that? Are they the people who you call leaders or just rulers? Certainly not leaders of a civilized planet, are they? They're not the ones to lead us to civilization. They're the ones who are destroying it as we speak. Bye.